So let's say you've got a field here with lots of comments that someone has typed into the different cells here. It goes down, let's say forever, hundreds of rows, maybe even thousands of rows. And you have to somehow flag rows based off of some text that is written in these cells in column F here. So your options are: one, you could scroll back and forth forever, and when you find the words you're looking for, you could then apply some kind of formatting, or maybe put an X over here like this. The next option is you could potentially use the find function. Click on the ribbon on home. Way over here you click find, and I could, it's on my other screen here, I could say type in meeting, click find next or find all, and you can do this, no issues with that, it works. But what if you want a more permanent solution so you don't have to keep going back to find and doing this every time? So what we could use are a couple of different functions. The find function and the search function. These two functions allow you to search for text within a cell. As long as that text is somewhere in the cell, it will work. It will find it. So all functions have arguments. Some are mandatory and some are optional. Well, how do you know the difference? So let's look at the find and search. As you notice, they look exactly the same. They have the same arguments. Find text, and this is what we're looking for. The next argument, within text, where are we looking for the text? And the last one is the optional one, which I'll get into later. And you can always see, you can tell it's optional because of the square brackets around start num, which means start number. So, and wildcards, we'll get into that later as well. So let's do a few searches here. And the difference between find and search, when you start to type it in here, you type in equals find open bracket, or before the open bracket actually. Here it says find is case sensitive. All right. I have a few examples. Let's use the word great. Just delete that. Equals find. And I'm going to click on this cell. That has the word I'm looking for. I'm going to click, let me see here, click and add the $sign. So that's locking this cell, so when I drag it down, that's going to stay the same. It's not going to change. Because when I drag this down, I always want to keep looking for the cell here at the top. And now we are in the argument of within the text. Like, what cell are we looking for? So this is a single cell. We click in here. So now we have find text, what we are looking for. Within text, where are we looking for it? And for now, we're going to ignore that optional parameter with those square brackets. So I put on the curved bracket to close this off, and I press enter. So we get the value error because Excel is telling us I cannot find, if I click in here, cannot find this text anywhere within this cell. So let's drag this down a ways. We see just a bunch of random text I wrote in, and can we find the word great? Well, it finds it here. The 1 indicates that it finds great starting in the first character of this cell. So watch what happens if I go into the formula bar. I just type in A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and a space. I hit enter. Watch, when I hit enter, this 1's going to change. It just changed to a 9, meaning that we have to count all the way over until the G of great. That's where the word great starts within this cell. So it's sort of counting. And it's not just telling us yes or no, it's there, but the position, which can be sometimes very helpful. So here it finds it in the first position again. Notice how it doesn't find this one. It's not spelled correctly. And it doesn't find this because this is uppercase. And the find function is case sensitive. So now let's try another one. Let's try the search function. So I type in search, and look what it tells me. It returns the number of the character at which a specific character or text string is first found. Reading left to right, not case sensitive. So it doesn't matter whether this is uppercase, lowercase, or somehow mixed together. So let's click this. This is what we're looking for. Once again, I'm going to put in that $sign to lock it on this cell, so when I drag it down, you'll see that it stays on J31. I type in a comma, or in your on your machine it might be a semicolon as well. Where am I looking for that value? Within this cell, and then I just put an ending bracket to close it off. So it gives me an error message once again. It cannot find this value anywhere within this cell. So I'm going to drag this down and watch what happens. Now all of a sudden it's finding the word great in this cell starting at the first character. It doesn't matter about the case, upper or lower case or mixed. So you watch what happens if I type in space, 3 spaces, 4 spaces actually, and now G, capital R, E, capital A, and a T. It finds it because it doesn't matter about the case. So finds it here as well. Here, either way, doesn't matter, case sensitive or not. Here it finds it once again. Now, here's another thing. Wildcards. What if someone said, yeah, okay, I typed in the word great, but a few times I misspelled it, G-R-A-A-T. That's kind of annoying, but there is a way to do that. So I'm going to say search, not case sensitive. I want to find GR, and let's look here. I always confuse these. I have to reference it again. The asterisk is any number of characters. The question mark is only one. Okay, so GR, and the spelling is a little bit off. It's a EA or it's a AA. So it's question mark, meaning only 2 characters. Could be GR, anything, anything, and now a T. I put the double quote again because it's text. I'm looking within that cell. Put the last bracket on, press enter. Drag this down, and now let's watch what happens. Okay, we expected all of this. All right, but oh, here we go. Now it's finding this one because of the wildcards that I've put in here. And here's another one. It's also finding this one. So let's see, what if I change the A to, I'll just hit the backspace. Let's put in an X. And it still finds it. So any 2 characters between the R and the T. Works just fine. Now, I did mention I was going to give you an example of the optional parameter start number. So what if you want to find, I did put something in here that we'll use, where is it now? Okay, what if someone tells you, I only want to search for the word great if it is there twice? Okay, well there's many ways that we could do this, but what if we try this? What if they tell you, I typed it in twice, and there's a space in the middle? So technically you could do something like this, and they don't care whether it's case sensitive or not. So search, let's just this time again put it in double quotes. It's not going to be referencing the cell at the top. Double quote, and I'll say I'm looking for the word great within this cell, and let's just say these ones are all the same. So we want to start in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the 6th position. So a comma and the start number of a 6, and then the ending bracket, and there we go. So it finds it in the 7th position. So and it's going to ignore the word great. Just drag this up a ways. We'll see what it does. If great is at the beginning of the cell, it's just going to ignore it. So it ignores, where is it? It ignores this one, gives us an error because I'm telling Excel to only start looking in the 6th position. So the G is 1, the R is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It starts right about there, and now then it's looking for the word great. So here it finds it because it's starting right about there to look for the word great. Here it doesn't, it's at the beginning. Here it finds it again because the word great is all the way over here. So watch what happens if I delete some of this, most of this, hit enter. Watch, the 9 over here will not be found. So these still work, but this one has the optional parameter at the end, the 6, to say only start looking in the 6th position. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it can't find it. Now, if I type in a few spaces and I type in the word great again, watch how this cell is going to change. Hit enter. Once again, it finds it. And one last tip that people always want to know. They say, okay, this is great. There's many different applications of this search or find function, but I don't want to see these value error messages because someone might think something's wrong. So let's go back over here. If error. Now, if error function only works in Excel 2007 and 2010. This find and search work in any 2003, even let's say 2000 and Excel 97. But if error, we'll just go like this, if error, and at the end, what do we do if it's an error? We just put a double quote. So we're sort of putting the if error around the whole search function. We've got the value, which is just our search, this part. What do we do if it's an error? We put a double quote for a blank, and then we drag it down. So watch how the numbers will remain there. Drag that down. The 12, if it's not an error, it simply just does the original function, does the search. So we'll add it to this one as well. And if you haven't changed over to the new versions of Excel 2007, 2010, 2013 is also coming, you would have to do a longer thing, which I'll show you in another video. The if is error, and then a little bit longer way to do it, but also is an option. So that's basically how to use find and search function.